Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Angela and today I have a tour for you at Coastal Cottage. I've been working on this for the better part of probably 2 months now and I'm finally ready to show it off. It got a lot bigger than I originally anticipated, which always seems to be the case, but I'm proud of how it turned out. It's very detailed. And there's a little bit of backstory and lore that went into it, but we'll explain that as we go along. The first thing you guys need to really know about this place is that it is the home to only 2 people. So I have 2 settlers here named Lily and Ben, and I didn't name them myself. I got them from the mod that names your settlers. But I stuck with the names because I really liked them. So this is Ben, and this is his workshop. He is a mechanic, and so he kind of wanders through the wasteland and finds all kinds of things that he can fix and rewire and refurbish and all that kind of fun stuff. And so that's what he does. I tried to make the place look as junky as possible because he is a scavenger or a scabber, and so there's all kinds of boxes, all kinds of totes, all kinds of everything, as evidenced by the giant junk pile behind his workstation or his workshop. Up here is more storage, so there's just a turret and that mannequin keeping watch over the front gate. I did run into a little bit of a problem trying to defend this place because there are only 2 settlers here, so they have lots and lots of turrets and a dog named Duke, who I think is out in the doghouse over here to the right, which you guys will see later on. But this place was a lot of fun to build. If you've seen my patchwork barn video, I kind of went into a little bit of a description of how I did the house or how I did the barn, and that's essentially how I did the house. I took barn pieces from the Far Harbor DLC, and I patched the holes in the walls with those, and then the ones that had holes in the barn pieces that had holes in them got patched up with more wood. And so it kind of makes a really scrappy, well-worn look that I really like, that I think lends itself well to this place because the house was so destroyed when you find it. So in here, I didn't make the house as big as the original perimeter. I kind of separated out a little bit, and so that left the living areas very small. And so I tried to separate those out even farther with half-wall pieces, with lots of different decoration to kind of make it feel like there are lots of different spaces in a couple tiny living spaces. And I think I did a pretty decent job. I'm also really proud of that fireplace too, so you guys will get a video on that pretty soon. Out here is the laundry, so or the wash house. So it's basically where they do their laundry, keep any cleaning supplies, anything like that. And I built a folding table out of plywood and a couple posts, which I thought turned out pretty well. Oh, and like a hanging bed thing that doesn't have the mattress on it. So we're gonna go ahead and go upstairs after I close this door over here. And again, upstairs feels very much like the downstairs. There are separations built by, using half-wall pieces and some of these pillars to try and, make it feel less like a giant square and more like separate rooms. So I went ahead and made them a little bedroom. That feels a little bit like a studio apartment, kind of. And they have a little bathroom up here, which I was very proud of as well. Although the boards repeat themselves a little bit because I couldn't do much about that, unfortunately. But, they have a toilet and a shower and a place to brush their teeth. So I think that's way, way better than most settlers out there. This place seems a lot more like it would be a player home, but I like the idea. I like having a couple settlers here with like a backstory. It makes it feel like they've been here for quite a while and they haven't just kind of moved in and taken the place over. They've built it from the ground up. So this little widow's walk here used to be a guard station, but I moved Ben out to his workshop, so now it just provides a great view. And then if we go upstairs, we get access to the fusion generator, which runs everything on the settlement. It also is a little bit of another workshop for Ben for his electronics and things like that. You get fantastic views from up here, which I love. There's the settlement beacon, which is turned off because I do not want more settlers here. Lily and Ben can handle it. So we're going to go in here and take a look at the workshop. And I had a lot of fun junk decorating. I say a lot of fun. It was a little bit of a nightmare, but it turned out really great. So I would say that it was well worth me trying to pull my hair out every step of the way. So when you're done on the roof, you can come back down this way instead of going the way you came. You can come down onto this little pallet, which has some plants that Lily has put up there. She is the gardener of the two, so she takes care of all the plants on the other side of the settlement. And she also puts potted plants everywhere. She really, really likes those. I thought it was nice to give her something like that. So out here you can see she's got her little mutfruit grove and some planters with some carrots, and over on the right in that little picket fence area is another garden with some corn and some potatoes, and this really is her domain over here. She also works in that shed over in the corner, the white one, and she helps prepare some of the fish and the meat that they get when they're out hunting, and some of the pelts as well for armor. So if you know anything about Coastal Cottage, you know that there is a basement or a cave down underneath, and of course I had to utilize that. So I managed to glitch these scaffolding steps in here, which was a total pain, but I think they turned out great. And I made this little cave into a wine cellar. Most people turned it into a bunker, which makes sense, but I thought a wine cellar would be way more cool because they have so much mutfruit that it kind of makes sense that they would make something out of it. So they collect bottles and they make their own wine. So you've got some barrels over there in the corner for it, and some storage over there on the shelves. And of course they keep some of their extra food down here as well. And I was really pleasantly surprised that the settlers themselves actually, they can get up and down these stairs. So that turned out to be a happy accident. So we're going to go back up these steps and out of the basement, past our little red coat guard there. And we're going to go check out the hunting and fishing shed. I had a lot of fun with this as well because I have never seen one done like this. Oh, also right there on the left in these cars, Lily has planted all kinds of different plants. She's used those cars, the rusted out cars, as flower beds. So I thought that added something to the settlement as well. So you've got all kinds of fish in here, all kinds of catch, all kinds of stuff that they've caught, and, you know, like a fish gutting station. Looks like they found a mirelurk nest somewhere, so they're gonna prepare those eggs. They can things. And then upstairs is where the armor workbench is. So all of the pelts and things that they get from, you know, radstags or yaoguai or even a deathclaw are up here. And they make armor that they can sell or where or whatever. You gotta stay busy when you're out here on a farm by yourself. I'm not sure this isn't so much a farm as like a homestead kind of thing. They're out here by themselves living off the land, so I guess it's kind of a farm. We're going to go look at the barn next, and it hasn't changed a whole lot since my patchwork barn video. It did get a little bit of a decor makeover. We're going to take a look at this garden really quick before we go to the barn. Just corn and potatoes. Nothing too special. They wanted a little bit of variety in their diet. So now we're going to go look at the barn. And the upstairs part, it really is the same layout as before, with more varied decor. So I had to take the armor workbench out of this little area over here to the left, which we will come back and see, because there was an armor workbench up in the other shed. So I made that into more food storage for some of their fresh food. And then up here I added in some more hay, which I assume that they are just cutting some of that grass that kind of just grows wild out around their farm or around their place, I guess, and drying that so they can feed it to their Brahmin and use it as bedding. But there's a little hangout place up here with a basketball hoop and a basketball. And then down here, of course, like I mentioned before, is the food storage. So, you know, just boxes, baskets, that kind of thing. Nothing too exciting in here. We've got one Brahmin in here, and I think the other one's outside. That usually tends to be the case with them. They rotate out. So I try to keep the door open for them, just in case they want to go inside. And here's this little pasture where the Brahmin should have this grass mowed down by now, but they insist on eating at their trough. I added a turret and a little awning, but that is really the only thing that I've done over here in the barn. So now that we've seen all the buildings, let's talk a little bit about the backstory of these two. So I did want to make this place have a little, not really a secret, but make it feel a little bit more than what was on the surface. And so Ben and Lily, because they live so close to Far Harbor, or at least the Commonwealth, close to Far Harbor in the Commonwealth, this is sort of a stop for any wayward synths that happen to come through and on their way to Acadia, because Lily is actually a synth. And Ben, poor Ben, he used to be a member of the Brotherhood, but he fell in love with Lily before he realized that she was a synth, and he wanted to stay with her so much that he ended up leaving the Brotherhood. They told him that he had to kill her, and he refused, and so he ran. So he and Lily went up to Far Harbor, and because he was trying to get her to Acadia, and Dima did not like that Ben was ex-Brotherhood, and so he kicked them out. However, that didn't stop them from trying to help out a little bit. So they lead synths up to Far Harbor. They kind of point them in the right direction. They give them a place to stay on their way up. They give them some supplies, which is why they have so much stuff. And they also have this little place back in here. So this is underneath all of the junk pile. This is the bunker. Now, just in case something bad happens and Ben has people out looking for him, or conversely, there are some synths that have people out looking for them, they can stay in here. This is the inside of that bus, and it is outfitted to be a little makeshift bunker. So you've got some bedding, some food, a nice place to sit. Pretty much it. You don't really have a view of the outside, but you know. Down in here is where Ben has his ham radio, so he broadcasts a signal out throughout the Commonwealth, letting synths know that this is a safe place for them to stay if they're on their way up through to Acadia. And he also intercepts some signals from various Brotherhood patrols or anything like that throughout the Commonwealth. So whenever that light switch turns on, it also turns on the satellite dish up top. So I will keep that on so we can see that in a minute. But on the other side, there is also another little secret. Of course, Ben, being ex-Brotherhood, he knows something about needing to be well stocked. And so he has a little place to work on his weapons, and he also has his Brotherhood power armor, which is a big no-no. The Brotherhood are probably out looking for him right this very second, but he has hidden it well in here. And over to our right is his armory of various things that he has collected or stolen from different places throughout the Commonwealth. He's got all kinds of goodies. A fat man and different pistols and a rail rifle. And mines on mines on mines. You do not want to shoot in here. This is the most dangerous place in the entire settlement. So this is the entirety of the sort of back half of the settlement. Like I mentioned before, I wanted there to be something else to the settlement that, wasn't easily visible on the surface. There are some other places inside the different buildings where synths can hide. So up in the attic of this garage is a mattress where a synth can hide or can sleep while they're here if there are a lot of people. And then also in the barn, in that little cubby with the cappy and all the boxes of things, is another sleeping bag. So they're not just relegated to that little shipping container over there. So that is the entirety of the settlement. We're going to go ahead and head up on top of the roof, and I will give you a nice overview of the front part here, the gate, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look around the perimeter of the settlement so you guys can see it, and that will be the tour. So here's the junk pile. All kinds of stuff in here. I just love the way that this whole thing kind of laid out. It's not walled off, but it does feel fairly secure. Because of, I think, the turrets, and there's lots of places to hide, just in case. So there's Duke over in his little doghouse. Hello, Duke. And we're going to go around the back here, and I'm going to show you how I've tried to fit the back pieces together as well. That was a huge challenge for me because it butts right up against the build limit here. So I'm not even sure. I can't even remember how I did all of this, quite honestly. But it all got done. It's a big junky pile of cars here. And you can see the dish is on because I left that switch on. And I think I'm stuck on a rock here, but you can also see that there are turrets defending the place. There's another little turret stand down in there, which I'm very proud of. Kind of built right into the trees. And for you astute Fallout builders, you can see that I have tilted that shipping container. I did tilt a few things. I tried. Had a lot of fun trying, though. So about here is just the other side of the barn and the fence that goes all the way around. I did add these trees in here. So the trees, I think, really, really make the settlement. It was very bare before, and it seemed very strange that there weren't very many trees because there's a whole forest of trees back behind. So the place needed some trees. So that big tree in the corner over there, this one right in front of us, the two orange trees I did add there are the ones with the orange leaves, and this one over here next to this other turret I added. So yeah, guys, that's the entirety of the tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this place, and I think that I don't want to say it's overtaken my #1 spot, but it's pretty dang close. So if you liked this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more of what I'm working on in the future, feel free to subscribe. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am CW Courier. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.